When I think about the counselor, I think about all the things that we have questions for, right? Many of us have questions about our lives, our situations, marriages, our jobs, our employment, our children, and so forth. When I think about that, and you say, hey, who can I talk to? Why not the counselor? The counselor is here. He's here for you. So call the counselor. 10 to 2, the counselor.
Okay, and we're back to the counselor. So glad you guys can join us. Thank you so much for subscribing. This has been an amazing journey. Just working with everyone, the emails, we're getting over inundated with emails. The views are great. Thank you guys for showing all your support. All right, so we want to continue on something I feel like is very important. This is part of my teen suicide series where we're talking about depression, right? And we talked about bullying, and now we're going to break this down, starting with childhood obesity. All right, so before I do that, I want to give a fact that I didn't mention in the last show. Why do many teenagers feel depressed, right? Because we're talking about depression, and while some of these one of the symptoms or reasons why a lot of these children are contemplating suicide is because of untreated depression, right? So there are multiple reasons why teenagers might become depressed. For example, teens can develop feelings of worthlessness or inadequacy over their grades, right? So, school is difficult for many young people, right? Sometimes they came from different backgrounds. Some children started academics earlier. So there's many reasons why academics, are so wide on the spectrum where there's some kids that get straight A's and some kids that can barely pull a C, right? So it's just continue because of their environment. It's important that we start paying attention to our needs of our kids academically, right? If you don't know calculus, parents, all right, there are things that you can do. There's ways you can find, and more importantly, speak with the teachers. Like, get involved in the schooling, right? I often say this: you only get one chance of education in this country for free, unless your parents are paying for private school. But either way, this is your chance for your children to learn everything that they can. So you want to make sure those highways are wide open, right? So feelings of worthlessness. So yes, if they're not doing well in school, the word calling them dumb or you're stupid, how come you don't know that? These things only worsen the situation, right, parents? All right. And if you're calling your kid stupid, you may not be watching the counselor. So, that's one thing we want to do is avoid saying things like that, right? All right. School performance. So again, some people play basketball every day, right? I come from a family that plays basketball. Everybody plays. The kids play. We play. The uncles play. The dads play, right? So everybody's, and the family's good in basketball, right? And so you go to school, and you're good in basketball, and you start noticing that other kids aren't as good as you. Well, they're noticing that too, right? So it doesn't mean that they suck, right? We hear that a lot. Oh, you suck. No, they don't have that culture as well as you do, right? So we want to start working on it, taking responsibility, students, right? Because we've seen these visuals, teen suicide, when someone takes their life, you guys are, lighting candles and having visuals, and it's beautiful, but we don't want that happening anymore, right? So how do we avoid that? Become good people, right? Start saying things that hurt people's feelings, right? And don't say that I didn't know, right? Because you can turn on the counselor and you're going to find out, right? Even from season 1, episode 1, you're going to find out, right? So we want to start working on ourselves. All right. Social status with peers. Oh my. I mean, I hate the division. I hate the separation, but sometimes it has to be, right? The cheerleaders sit with the cheerleaders, and, the jocks sit with the jocks, and whoever. I don't even know. I can't even keep up anymore. It's just ridiculous, right? The separation. But these are personalities, right? The personalities start meshing, right, in the world, right? So social status, That's how you make it. All of you guys pretty much live in the same neighborhood, so your social status isn't that different, right? You're either in a working class neighborhood, or an impoverished neighborhood, or a well-to-do neighborhood, right? Or somewhere in between those things. Okay, but if you're in the same schools with some of these other people, you're probably doing just as well as they are. All right, so we need to stop picking on people, calling them poor, right? Just because they don't have on a pair of $400 Yeezys, right, doesn't mean that they're poor. It means that maybe they're smart with their money, and that maybe they might be able to go buy a car at 16, right, and drive to school while you're still on the bus laughing at somebody's sneakers, right? So you guys want to think about that. Picking on each other, it's not cool. Sexual orientation, stop picking on people for what they choose. That's their business. You're not in their bed. You don't know what's happening in their home and with their partner, right? Why are we doing this to each other, right? You're learning that from home. You're hearing dad and mom saying it, and you think it's okay. Dad and mom, please start watching what you're saying to other children in front of your children about other people, right? Because these are hurting kids. They're going to school using those as weapons against those children. And then when those children take their lives because of what your child has repeated, right? If you don't feel bad, please give me a call, right? Because you should feel bad. All of you should feel bad, even allowing your friends to say these type of things to people, right? We're going to do better in 2022, kids, right? We're going to do better. Or family life. Mind your business. Stay out of people's personal business. I see that a lot with teens. You always have something to say about someone else's family, right? That's their family, right? Worry about your family. All right, so let's talk about childhood obesity. Can parents cause childhood obesity? Right? So, yes, family history. That's certain foods that pass down from generation to generation in certain families, right? Sweet potato pies with all that butter and sugar. It's good to have it at Thanksgiving once a year, right? But not every Sunday, right? So even if it's mom's good sweet potato pie, the best thing to do is have it when we're supposed to have it appropriately, right? Not every week, right? So some of these things contribute to childhood obesity, right? Family history, psychological factors, right? And lifestyle all play a role in childhood obesity. Children whose parents are overweight or have obesity are more likely to follow suit, right? So if you, mom, didn't learn how to eat healthy, you're obviously not going to teach your children how to eat healthy, right? So when we go through all these aisles in the grocery store, and I want to take a poll, how many aisles are healthy in any grocery store? I want somebody to put a number down in the comments if you can. How many aisles? And when you look at our grocery store, I think it's 20, 25 aisles, right? So of those 25, how many of those have all healthy foods in that aisle? All right. So childhood obesity, right? So parents, start looking at what you're giving your kids. All right. And those chicken nuggets and those French fries at McDonald's, right? All right, kids. Not every day, right? Because after a while, all right, that becomes an issue, right? Children whose parents are overweight, obviously the child might start becoming overweight as well. And you have to remember, parents, this is not, especially if you're having health problems, diabetes, you're not listening to your doctor. And so what's happening to your child? The same situation. But the main cause of childhood obesity is a combination of eating too much, right, and exercising too little, right? So even when they're young, you want to let them go ahead and eat, right, portions. We're going to talk about overeating. That's something that is less talked about, but portions, right? And then let's go do something. We used to play catch daddy at the park when my kids were younger, right? We'd get the exercise, and I would have to carry one on one shoulder and one on the other because they were passed out by the time we got playing chase daddy, right? So teaching your kids to exercise, to do things positive, right? How are parents responsible for childhood obesity, all right? So childhood obesity comes from many factors. And unattractive lifestyle, right, where you're eating unhealthy, and being lazy, not wanting to pick up after yourself, clean, right? Do things that involve movement, right? Kids nowadays being born into the age of screen addiction, and I like that term, screen addiction. We talked about that in our cell phone addiction series, might be responsible for a small amount of prevalence of obesity rates. Okay, so when you're letting your kids sit at that TV from the time they get home, right? They turn on the counselor, they watch it real quick, and then they go do their homework, right? So, and then you're letting them sit there in front of that TV for hours, right? Not encouraging them to get up, go outside and play somewhere, taking them to the track and you guys just walking, right? Encouraging them to do something, all right? Instead of sitting there saying, girl, you getting fat. Boy, you grown out of your clothes. These things hurt these kids' feelings at times, right? And then we're talking about teenage depression and teenage suicide. This is where it's coming from, right? We're not paying attention to what the changes are that are happening in our children's lives. What are the main causes of childhood obesity? These are lifestyle choices too, parents. Okay, if you don't do any activities and you're eating too many calories from food and drinks, there's an issue, right? Not only are you going to go to McDonald's and get a double quarter pounder with extra cheese, right? A large fry, and then we're going to go ahead and get a diet soda, right? So we want to start thinking about this. That's overconsumption, right? And coming from California, when I lived there anyways, they had calorie counts on every menu. And I know that was a law, and I think that was repealed or taken away when I think our last president went into office. I think that's one of the first things he did. I think I'm right. And so, there was a calorie count, right? So you can say, sometimes I would just order, I'll take the 360 calories, right? That was the chopped up tomatoes with the vinaigrette dressing. Oh, delicious. Right. So, that's how you would make good lifestyle choices is looking at your calorie intake. All right. If I'm going to have a double Whopper with cheese, extra bacon, heavy oil, okay, maybe I should get a smaller fry and maybe a water. Oh, no. Yes, a water. Right. So just lessening the calorie count. I understand you enjoy the fast food. It's okay. But just start weaning yourselves down a little bit. Right. Stop ordering soda every time you go out to eat. Okay? You can go buy a soda at the store for $1, but you're going to pay $4 at a restaurant for a thing of soda, and then you're going to order another one because you drank that fast, right? So these are signs, thinking about these behaviors, right? The overeating, how is that coming, right? All of a sudden they're ordering double meals for themselves at Applebee's. All right, that's overeating. Right? That's eating too much. And yes, you can let your children know that they are overeating, but also get up and do something about it, right? Change what you're buying, right? Instead of going down the aisles with all the potato chips and all these junk foods, stay in the fruit and vegetable section. I challenge some of you parents, in fact. Spend more time in the fruit and vegetables. Try something new, right? Pick up one of the a different type of onion, right? A different type of potato, tomato, something, right? Try some healthy diets and meals. And the good part is YouTube is great, not just to watch The Counselor, but also you can Google, recipes with vegetables, right? Make some changes, right? Say it to yourself this year. It's only March. It just started. I'm going to make some changes in my diet. I'm going to make some changes in my home. I'm going to discontinue overfeeding my children, right? Allowing this unhealthy activity to happen. If your grandmother had diabetes and then your mom had it and she passed and then your sister has it, all right, what do you think is going to happen to your children? All right, so we got to start making some healthy choices, lifestyle choices, and healthy changes. Okay. these are the main contributors to childhood obesity. So yes, there's some genetic and hormonal factors that do play a role as well. Why childhood obesity is increasing? All right, childhood obesity is mainly associated with unhealthy eating. Again, right, going to McDonald's, ordering pizza, ordering. It's okay to order, but not every day, right, moms? I know you're tired. We're all tired, right? But we have remedies for that. And family, come together as a family. Sit down. I know it's unlikely, but guess what? I got a great idea, right? Text everybody. What do you guys want for dinners? Let's add some fruit and vegetable in this. Have a conversation, right? Why allow this to keep and continue, right? This unhealthy activity. All right. And low levels of physical activity, right? I remember growing up, we used to play volleyball with each other. That was great. Playing volleyball with mom and dad and brothers and sisters and having a good old time, right? I had a lot of brothers and sisters. I still do, but right? Doing something or meeting some friends and doing something in the evenings, right? Something different, roller skating, I don't know. So just doing some physical work or even just walking up and down the neighborhood, right? Saying hi to all the neighbors. Hello, right? But the problem is linked not only to children's behavior, but also increasingly to social and economic development and policies in the area of agriculture, transport, and urban planning, the environment, food, and processing. All right, so these factors all play into what's happening with our teens, right? So we want you guys to start thinking about how I can make some changes this year. And I'm going to repeat this because this is the main reason why I am sitting here today. All right, I've seen, because of undiagnosed depression and anxiety, I've seen children start turning to things that they can do to help them cope. All right, and we're playing ignorant until we get a phone call saying, Timmy's gone. Jenny just passed away. Mark committed suicide, right? You don't want to wait until you get that horrible phone call, right? Children, you don't want your parents to get a phone call like that, right? Think about it. Sometimes I call it selfishness. Yes, we get so consumed within ourselves, even as young people, right, that we don't care about somebody else. When you find yourself not caring about somebody else, this is where it begins. This is where it starts, right? Because you're no longer caring about anybody else, and then you're telling your own self how sad your life is, right? So I'm going to challenge you guys. The next time you start falling into yourself, we'll call it, feeling like you want to talk to you want to improve your body, or you don't like your body, and you notice your own self. We look in the mirror every day, right? We fix our eyebrows and our lipstick and our makeup and stuff, right? We fix our hair and brush our teeth, and we shave our face if we have to, right? So the next time when you're reflecting, and that makes sense, right? And all it is about you. I want you to challenge yourself. Stop that thinking for a minute and think about somebody else. Because suicide is even selfish. Because once again, you're thinking about yourself. What about who finds you, right? But we don't want it to get to that point. What do you want to do? Well, right now, what you want to do is think about the entire video. If you have to go back and play it again, go ahead. Right? Just hit that little circle thing in the corner. I'm learning more about YouTube every day. I love it. All right? Play this video again. Think about the symptoms. Talk it over with your parents. And if you find yourself feeling in any way that you want to take your life, right? Or if you've gotten to that point where the idea hit your head And now it's in your head that you have a plan that you're putting together, how you're going to do it. This is a time that I want you to act. All right. This is when I want you to pick up the phone and you call emergency services. You dial 911 and you let them know what you're feeling. All right. And someone will stay on the phone with you to help you. And if there's someone that you do know that might be experiencing anything like this and you don't know how to help them, that is the point of having counselors in counseling. So I would urge you to pick up the phone. You can give us a call at 413-370-9937, right? You can email me at promo@thecounselor.live, right? So we want to hear from you, right? If I can't help you, I will find someone who will, that will be willing to take you on and get you moving and get you past this situation, right? Because we can get past suicide. We can get past suicide all the way up until it actually happens. So we have plenty of time, right? Because Superman's not going to come save anyone jumping off a building, right? So we want everyone to continuously communicate. Join us every day, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock. And if you want to contact me and those other ways haven't, you can always slide up in my DMs. The Counselor.
When I think about the counselor, I think about all the things that we have questions for, right? Many of us have questions about our lives, our situations, marriages, our jobs, our employment, our children, and so forth. When I think about that, and you say, hey, who can I talk to? Why not the counselor? The counselor is here. He's here for you. So call the counselor. 10 to 2, the counselor.